Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
The Trump administration is starting to develop a new national cybersecurity strategy. Several presidential administrations, including Trump's first, have tried to get their arms around securing U.S. interests in cyberspace. But digital threats to agencies and critical infrastructure have only gotten worse, while artificial intelligence is posing a whole new set of challenges. For more on how the White House is addressing those issues, Federal News Network's Justin Doubleday.
National Cyber Director Sean Cairncross says the United States hasn't made it clear to China and other cyber adversaries that bad behavior in cyberspace is unacceptable. It's been more than 20 years since the first national cyber strategy was released, but the Trump administration is taking another fresh look at what Cairncross says has been a policy-making failure.
A failure to send a message creates an opening for miscalculation that opens the door for a larger problem. From the policymaking side, I would view that as a failure. What we are looking to do is to change that posture so that message is clear. Across the interagency, I think in the private sector and critical infrastructure sectors, there's a real hunger to do this, to make sure that this happens. It's just that there has been no single coordinating authority, and cyber has not been raised to a strategic decision-making level in the past. And that's something that we are looking to do and hope to have an impact in this domain that is lasting.
The average cost of a data breach in the United States has reached $10 million in 2025, double the global average, according to IBM. And policymakers aren't just concerned about data theft. U.S. officials have issued increasingly dire warnings in recent years about nation-state hackers breaking into power, water, and other critical infrastructure systems. They say the goal isn't to steal data, it's to lie in wait to potentially disrupt those systems. One major challenge is most critical infrastructure in the United States is owned by the private sector. The Biden administration's 2023 National Cyber Strategy had emphasized baseline cybersecurity regulations and holding the tech industry to a higher standard when it comes to security. But speaking at Palo Alto Network's public sector conference last week, Cairncross took a far different tone toward the private sector.
I'm not trying to bring CEOs in and beat them over the head and say, do this or we'll regulate, or this is a mandate coming down from on high. What I'm looking to do is to say, where are the regulatory friction points in this domain that you deal with? What's redundant? What's become too much of a compliance checklist?
Cairncross says the private sector should have to meet minimum standards for cybersecurity, but he says the White House wants to work with businesses to understand how security could be better prioritized against existing regulations.
Working to sort of harmonize that regulatory structure it's incumbent on us to do that and work with you all to do that, hopefully as rapidly as we can. But I see this as a true partnership between government and industry. And I think if we can get that in a place where everyone is speaking the same language, it will be incredibly useful for hardening our resiliency.
Cairncross says the Office of the National Cyber Director will work to get feedback from the private sector as officials draft the new cyber strategy. Another key focus for the Trump administration is improving the federal government's own cyber defenses. That's where the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency plays a key role. CISA has faced steep funding and workforce cuts under the Trump administration, but one of the few CISA programs that the administration has requested more funding for in fiscal 2026 is Continuous Diagnostics and Mitigation, or CDM. The CDM program provides cybersecurity tools and services to monitor government networks for vulnerabilities. CISA's goal is to rationalize and standardize the cybersecurity tools that agencies rely upon, including through CDM. That'll help agencies find and fix vulnerabilities faster and make it easier for cybersecurity personnel to move across different agencies. That's according to Nick Anderson, Executive Assistant Director for Cybersecurity at CISA.
I want to be able to take somebody and pick them up and say, you've got workforce mobility to be able to pick up from Interior and go work at Treasury, or go pick up from SSA and go work at CMS. If we have a more rationalized, unified cyber stack across the federal government, it's going to provide us the opportunity to do that.
But even as officials try to bridge existing gaps in cyber defense, the emergence of artificial intelligence is creating a whole new set of issues. Brett Leatherman, head of the FBI Cyber Division, says Chinese government-backed groups are already using AI to ramp up their hacking operations.
Artificial intelligence allows them to scale in ways that they can't otherwise scale. Similarly, it allows mid-tier actors to really asymmetrically scale in ways that they can't have impact otherwise, meaning a lot of these cyber criminal groups now have nation-state type capabilities that they would not otherwise have because they're using generative AI. And as we start to move into agentic AI capability, we're going to see the scale and impact, the scope of those breaches be even more significant.
Leatherman says the FBI wants to use AI to speed up cyber defense, but the Bureau is working through challenges with applying AI to its sensitive data sets, like computer logs provided by victims of cybercrime.
We can't be in a space where our agents, computer scientists, intelligence analysts, and other support personnel are looking through those manually. We have to be able to leverage meaningful artificial intelligence platforms to get through that while also preserving what is required of us, chain of custody as we do that. We have to be able to defend what we do in courts of law. And so we have to meaningfully adopt technologies that allow us to do that.
The Trump administration's AI Action Plan, released in July, provides some clues on how its forthcoming cyber strategy will address AI. The plan calls for the Department of Homeland Security to lead the establishment of an AI Information Sharing and Analysis Center. The center would share AI security-related threat information and intelligence across critical infrastructure. And the plan says agencies like the Defense Department and the National Institute of Standards and Technology will work to promote secure-by-design AI technologies. Karen Cross says the administration wants to balance speed and security when it comes to AI and technology modernization.
What steps are we taking to make sure that this is tested, that this is piloted, that this is safe, that this has the rails on it that it needs to, and that it is secure in a way that it needs to? And so we are looking and working with the Office of Science and Technology Policy and AI security and GSA and OMB working together to try to really solve this problem. And that will take private sector engagement as well as we move forward on testing and piloting some of these things.
Justin Doubleday, Federal News Network.
And you can find Justin's report at federalnewsnetwork.com.